likes and hearts and fun things like that. Good. Yeah. So again, don't be shy. And it is 8 o'clock. Hi, Daily. Thank you. All right, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Let's Get Witchy with your host, Zoe Sol. I am Zoe Sol, and I am super excited to talk with all of you today about protection magic. Protection magic is so important if you are a practicing witch. You know what? Even if you're not a practicing witch, if you are a person who is sensitive, if you're one of those people who feels all the time and you don't know how to turn that off, we are going to cover that today, talking about protection magic. I'm going to talk about how to protect yourself, how to protect your home and your environment, how to do that if you have no tools on you whatsoever, and how to do that with a lot of tools. Protection magic is a lot of fun because this is the time where when you think about that quintessential witch, the one with, I don't know, the raven claw or the hornet's nest or the spiders or the eye of newt or, you know, the snakes, all of those like witchy things and those witchy aesthetics get to be used in protection magic. And I'm going to cover why that is and how we get to use all of that fun energy. I have a really fun assortment of goodies to share with you all today, so you can see some of the stuff that I use when I am doing protection magic. So we're going to cover all of that in just a moment here. After we cover protection magic, I'm going to go right into questions and answers. And then after that, I'm going to go into readings. I do offer free one-card readings here on the show. Tips are appreciated, you guys. I'm doing this for free and I'm doing it for the love of it. And also because I know that there is information that a lot of you are curious about and I like sharing the knowledge. I love sharing the knowledge. But it is, you know, it is time consuming. So any kind of tips or gratuity helps me continue to make this happen. So I totally appreciate it. I just want to make sure that I'm seeing your guys' comments. So if one of y'all could, because I'm seeing folders on the side here. I'm not seeing comments though. Just click into comments. Leave me a comment just so that I can see. Oh, I see it. There it is. Hi. Okay. I see Psychicfixes, Perry, Keith. Hi, Keith. Kate. Hi, Kate. Darling Daily, Kimmy. Oh my gosh, I see a lot of people here. Hello, everybody. So I'm not giving readings just yet. I'm going to talk about protection magic, and then I will go into readings. So let's go ahead and dive in because there's a lot to cover. So protection magic. First off, let's talk about why it's important. So I'm going to share something personal with you all. When I was a very little girl, pretty much all the way up through college, I had a lot of anxiety. I mean, so much anxiety. And as a child, I didn't really understand that it was anxiety. It wasn't until later on that I was diagnosed with anxiety. But the way that it showed up is, as a child, I frequently wet my bed, used to be embarrassed about it. I'm an adult now. I don't care. That's just what happened when I was little. And I had to constantly move. And I was very, just kind of a nervous, hyper child and very sensitive. And then as I grew into a young adult, I found myself shutting down around people and shutting down around places because I felt so overwhelmed all the time. And I am a big fan of therapy, by the way, guys. So I am going to talk a little bit about that. But I did end up going into therapy. I was diagnosed with anxiety. I was on medication for a period of time. But what really, really helped me get off of medication and start to address that from for me, a healthier place was when I started really diving into my spiritual practice. And when I learned about protection magic, this was a game changer for me because what I didn't realize at the time when I was younger was that I was absorbing all of the energy around me and I was absorbing everybody's energy. And I really didn't know how to turn that off. I'm an extremely sensitive person. I always have been. And so if this sounds like this could potentially be you, this show today is totally for you. But even if you're not that sensitive, it's still a really good practice to understand how to protect yourself. So by learning protection magic, I basically was able to shield and protect and really create a space for myself where I was safe and where I wasn't taking on people's energy and people's emotions and, you know, the outside world, because the reality is the world is not all sunshine and bubbles. If you are a human being existing on this planet right now, you're going to come across negativity. It's just the way of it. You're going to come across a lot of positivity, but you are going to come across negativity. So we need to learn how to shield and protect ourselves. So the very first thing I am going to talk about is how to protect your personal self, your own personal body, because that is really important when you go out in the world. And so some of you may have no tools, and that's okay, because there's a few really great tricks where you don't need any tools whatsoever. You can go ahead and start protecting yourself right now, actually. And the first thing I want to bring up is anybody that I work with, I always emphasize the importance of guides, working with your spirit guides. That can be your ancestors. That can be, if you believe in working with angels, it can be angels. That can be gods or goddesses or deities. But basically, anybody that's on the spiritual side, that's in the spiritual plane, that is one of your helpers. Working with guides is so important because they're there to help you. So the very first thing you can do is just simply ask your guides, please protect me, please shield me, please remove any negativity from my field, and you know, and protect me. And I'm going to share 3 of the big guides that I work with. So these are my main guides. I have a spirit animal that I work with that is a vulture. And I actually have a giant tattoo on my back of a huge vulture. And the wings, I mean, you can't see it because I'm covered, but the wings actually kind of wrap around here. And so it used to be that, well, I still do this, but one of the things that I do is I will close my eyes and I will visualize the vulture energy coming in and wrapping its wings all around me and just shielding me and acting like, okay, I got you. And I can feel the energy of the vulture all around me. And now that I have this tattoo, it feels really good because I almost like envision that tattoo coming to life, like a cartoon on my back going and coming to life. So, you know, use your guides. If you have a specific animal that you really resonate, ask that animal to come in and step in and protect you. Another guide that I work with is Tourmaline. She is an Aztec goddess. People traditionally know her. I grew up Catholic, so in the Catholic tradition, she is the Virgin of Guadalupe. And same idea, I use her cloak. I will envision her cloak wrapping around me and protecting me. And then lastly, I have been working a lot lately with Hecate. And Hecate is a badass. I am having so much fun with this freaking goddess queen. But Hecate is surrounded by hounds. She's got, you know, those are animals that she works with. So one of the things that I'll do is I'll just ask Hecate, hey, can you help me out with some of those hounds? And I just like sick the hounds out on any negative energy that's coming at me. So again, you guys, if you don't know who your guides are, that's fine. You don't have to even know. You can simply say, you know, whoever my spiritual guides are, please come in and protect me and shield me. And that has power. I do recommend, though, that you take some time to figure out and find out who your guides are. And there's a few different ways to do that. I'm not going to cover that in today's episode because we got a lot to get through. But I will say that it is really important that you start to identify who your guides are and build a working relationship with you, because they are powerful. They are there for you. They want to help you. It's simply a matter of you stepping out and asking. So, guides, big one if you don't have tools. The next way that you can protect and shield yourself is envisioning a white light or a white bubble or orb all around you. And again, you're just using the power of visualization, but by using that imagination and awakening it and calling that light and energy around you, it's really, really powerful. And I know that when I do this, I can actually feel it. and it feels really good. And so all you got to do is, you don't even have to close your eyes. You can just think of it in your mind and visualize and imagine a white light encompassing you. And I also like to do the added thing of like envisioning that white light disintegrating any negative energy that's lingering in your bubble. So it's like, this is my space and this is my area right here, and you're not allowed in. And so use that white light. You can also use, I'm going to do, if I have time, I'm going to do a tree meditation with you all at the very end of this. But this has been my go-to for a very long time. I will visualize myself, my body as an actual tree, and I will visualize my feet like roots going down into the soil, and then out sprouting out of the top of my head, just big branches, and they kind of swoop around me, and those branches act like a filter. And what that does is it allows light and it allows good things to come in, but it keeps out anything that's negative or anything that I don't want. So those are ways that if you don't have tools, totally fine. Use those visualizations, call on your guides. You have a lot at your disposal. You do not need tools to be a witch. Tools are fun, and we're about to get into those, but you don't need them. All right, guys, I'm going to pop over here. Kate says she loves the tree meditation. Yes, I do too. Kimmy, you're saying that you are excited for the presentation. Thank you. There's a lot of information, so hopefully I don't overwhelm you. You guys, I am going to cover a lot of things. Take the pieces that work for you, and as you're listening to the different protection magic that I'm going to lay out today, just listen to what feels like something that you can do and that you will do, and also like, ooh, that feels good. You might find some of these suggestions don't work for you. That's fine. Use the ones that do. Kara, hello, my beautiful fairy witch. I loved your photo shoot earlier. You're just a doll, and I love you. Hello, Sarah. All right, guys. So let's start to get into tools. But before I do that, I want to talk about color. My favorite color is black. I love the color black. I am comfortable in the color black. There are so many reasons why I love the color black. No, it's not just because I'm a witch. No, it's not just because I'm a little goth girl. I mean, although that is part of it. But what I find is that I'm very comfortable in the color black. And the reason why is that in witchcraft, black is the color of protection. It is a color that shields you and protects you. And so if you're ever feeling like you have to walk into an environment that is toxic, or that you're not, you don't want to absorb the energy, deck yourself out in all black before walking in, because that will really help shield and protect you. There is a concept in witchcraft called veiling. And what's really funny is I used to do this all the time, and I had no idea that this is what I was doing. It just felt good. Veiling is literally what it sounds like. You take a scarf or a handkerchief or a veil and you wrap it around the top of your head. And that acts as a shield, and it protects you. And it's just a simple article of clothing. And like I said, I used to do it all the time, but I didn't actually know that that's what I was doing until I started to learn about this. And I was like, oh, so that's what I was doing. Because it was just this thing. For a while, I just went through this phase where like I didn't feel good unless I had like a scarf or a handkerchief or something over my head. And some cool things you can do with veiling is you can anoint the fabric, you can charge it, you can draw sigils on it, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit here. But yeah, just wrapping a scarf around your head helps, that process of veiling helps block out negative energy. Stones. All right, everybody, I'm gonna show off my beautiful stones here. So one of my favorite stones to work with is tourmaline. This is tourmaline. It's shiny, and you'll see that it kind of has these edges to it. This is a giant piece of tourmaline. Here's a smaller piece of tourmaline. And I really like stones that are not polished and that are in their raw form. So, you know, and then this is kind of a smaller shard of tourmaline. So you can kind of see that I've got lots of tourmaline in my arsenal. And what I actually like to do is I like to take these two big ones and I put them on the side of my door. Now, on your person, you can carry them. You can carry tourmaline. You can hold tourmaline if you feel like if something's been attaching to you, you can actually hold it and breathe in the energy of the stone and let it clear you and just let it kind of detach any lingering residual energy that you don't need. It is an extremely powerful and protective stone. You can also use obsidian, and obsidian is also this jet black, but it's smooth. So let me actually move the camera over so y'all can see this. So do you see how obsidian is very shiny, very, very shiny. And I've got a bunch of this as well. Both of these are really great stones to work with if you are looking for some protection. You guys, I also use jewelry. So this is actually what we call an evil eye. And what this does is when you're wearing it, it basically, it literally keeps an eye on things. It's kind of like keeping an eye outward. It projects the energy outward, so you're not taking anything in. And anytime that I'm doing any work where I don't want to absorb any of the energy, I will wear my evil eye amulet. Or on a day where I'm just feeling particularly sensitive, I will wear my evil eye amulet because it makes me feel better. All right, now let's talk about the fun stuff. Actually, before we do that, this is also fun. I want to go over sigils really fast. So sigils, you can use sigils. Sigils are basically sacred symbols. You can draw them on yourself. You can anoint yourself with the sigil. You can literally draw sometimes I'll take like an eyeliner and I will draw a sigil somewhere on my body, on my person. You can even use water to draw a sigil on you for protection. And there are so many different types of sigils. You can literally hop on Google and Google protection sigil and you will see so many. So I'm not going to go over all the different sigils because we would be here literally all day. But what I am going to show you is how to create your own sigil. I'm going to go over this relatively quickly, but please keep in mind that this is, this is recorded. So this is forever. So you can always come back to this video and refer to it. If there's something that I'm saying and you missed it, please come back to the video and watch it again for more information. But I'm going to talk about how to make a sigil. I'm going to break it down. I actually prefer making my own sigils because I find that when you make your own, it has your own energy signature on it. They are extremely powerful. You can put them everywhere, anywhere you want protection. Okay, so let me go to the camera over here. You guys like my double camera action? Okay, so protection sigil. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to write out the word. You see on that top line right here, I've got the word written out, protection. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you are going to circle all of the consonants and cross out any vowels and any repeating consonants. So at the end, you should only have a handful of consonants. So you are. Now here's the fun part. This is where you make your sigil. That's my cat, by the way. She is very vocal. She's deaf, so she screams and she has no idea how loud she is. So if you hear a cat screaming, she is fine. She's just deaf and she likes to talk a lot. There she goes. So down here you'll see is my sigil. And the way that I created that was I basically took the top line where my letters are, and I took those letters and I reconfigured them to create a symbol. And there's really no wrong way to do this. So don't overthink it. All you need to do is take those letters and write them and piece them together, kind of like a puzzle, in a way that's fun for you and feels good for you. And there you have your sigil. And you can take that symbol and you can put it, like I said, you can put it on yourself. You can draw it on yourself. You can draw it over your door. You can put it in your grimoire or your journal if you don't want people going in there. There, again, you can put your sigil anywhere where you want that little extra bit of protection. All right. So, hi, Anna Marie. Hi, Sarah. Willow. Hey. Willow got an eye. How cool is that? And then Kara uses her perfume roller. Kara, for when you're anointing things. That's fun stuff. Okay, guys. This is like witchy show and tell. I'm getting really excited about this part because we're going to talk about satchels and spell jars. So basically a satchel looks like this, is just like a drawstring pouch. And a spell jar, do I have a spell jar here? Oh my goodness, I do not. So what I got actually is baby spell jar. I have a baby spell jar that I made. So let me show you the baby. This is a little baby one. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay, so this is a little tiny, tiny one. This one is not for protection. This little baby here is for manifestation. Oh, Kitty's joining. Protection. This so on my table, I got graveyard dirt. You guys, it looks like I'm frozen. Am I frozen on your end, or are you guys able to? Am I frozen? It looks like it's choppy. It looks like I'm having some technical difficulties. It's stuttery. Okay. Glitchy. Okay, I'm trying to see if we can fix this. Can you guys hear me okay? Is it the video or is it the audio as well? Oh, it feels like it's starting to get better. Okay, so you hear me okay. All right, perfect. Well, I'm just going to keep talking and then hopefully the video will be able to catch up. Okay, so on my table here, I got all kinds of goodies. I'm just going to go down the list of the things that I have. I have graveyard dirt. I have snake skin. I have a hornet's nest. I have nails. I have a poisonous spider. I've got black salt. I've got chrysanthemum flowers. Okay, dried chrysanthemum. I've got coyote fur. And like I said, it's witchy show and tell. And I've got a dried raven's claw holding a piece of jade. Okay. And so basically, when you're creating a satchel or a spell jar, what it is you're going to take a bunch of items like this and put them, all of the contents are going to go into the jar or the satchel. You will seal it and you can use that as a form of protection. You can wear that on your person. You can put that in your purse. You can keep it in your pocket. You can have it hanging over your bed, wherever you feel like you need protection. And so let's talk about the contents. Okay, are the contents important? Of course they are. And when you're thinking about the contents of your spell jar, think about, I'm going to just say spell jar, but I also mean satchel. It applies to both. Think about the energy of whatever the item is that you are holding. For example, when I have a hornet's nest in my hand and I feel into that energy, think about what a hornet does, what a hornet's nest is. Think about what happens if you disturb a hornet's nest. So just even thinking about conjuring the image of what that is, it's like, you know, you get the swarm of hornets. Nobody wants that. People will go running. And so hornet's nest, I use a lot in protection magic because it is extremely powerful. Basically, the energy of that is it creates a swarm of protection around you so that if anything tries to come in and disturb you without your permission, or anything wants to try to come in and invade your space, you've got that energy, that hornet energy swarming around and taking care of it. The same is also true of the snake skin. So it's that snake energy. Anything that is like a predator that can go out on attack. It's that energy of protection. It's that energy of like being a badass boss and not letting anybody mess with you. So that's kind of when you start to think about like spiders and things like that. It works really well with protection magic. I will also go outside and look for spider webs and gather webbing and put it in my protection spells. I actually do have a pretty powerful satchel that is hanging over my door in my front door, but I don't want to take it down. I don't take it down. Like I have wards throughout my house, and we're going to talk about what wards are in a minute here, but I didn't want to grab them because they're in place. They're protecting me and my home. So that's why I don't have them here. But basically, you can take graveyard dirt is another one. It's great for protection as well as a lot of other things. Chrysanthemum flowers, everybody, these are very protective. So you can gather all of these things. Let's make one right now, actually. So I'm going to make a little satchel. I might take and use what you have. If you don't have these items, that's fine. But I will tell you this, it's probably a good idea to start collecting them. If you see an old wasp nest, like I said, these things are great for magic. Old dead spiders, snake skins. I go hiking and anytime I see snake skins, I also have snake bones that I use. Anything that you can get out in nature, that, you know, anything. I mean, I will pick up dead moths and dead butterflies because it still has that energy associated with it. And you can use that energy in your spell work. And so let's go ahead and put a pinch of graveyard dirt. Okay. I've also got some black salt here. We're going to put a pinch of black salt. Willow's saying, tell the fairies to calm down and leave the inner node. I think they've calmed down. Have they calmed down, you guys? Here's a little black salt. I've also got coyote fur. I've got my hornet's nest. Let's go ahead and throw some snake bone in there. A little bit of snake bone. I'm into it. I'm into all of it. Okay, so, and then I've also got these little nails. I'm not going to toss them in there because they'll get lost. And I actually have a purpose for these guys that I'm going to be using. But you can throw nails in there. It's like really whatever you want. And then if you want to get extra witchy, traditional satchels that are for protection and traditional spell jars that are for protection will usually include some either like fluid or piece like of the person. So that can be nail clippings, that could be hair, that could be saliva, that could be blood. Ladies, I'm going to tell you something. I know that in our culture, we have a lot of stuff around period blood. I'm going there. We feel like menstruation is dirty, and that's a lot of like how our society has taught us. It can be used for very powerful magic. It is extremely, extremely protective. I don't use it all the time, but when I need like that punch, I'm not afraid to use a drop of it because it is very powerful. A little bit goes a very long way. You don't need a lot, but it is extremely powerful. And so when you're creating your pouch or your spell jar, it's a good idea to, you know, if you don't want to go that route, that's fine, but get, you know, a little piece of your hair, a little clip of your nails, something in there so that you are wrapped up in that energy and enshrouded in the energy. Once you've done that, you want to then charge the item. How do you charge the item? I use moon magic. So you can set it under the full moon. You can also use sun magic. You can set it under the sun and let it charge that way. But basically the idea is that you've created this little alchemy, this little jar or this little tool, and now you want to put it somewhere where it can absorb energy, almost like a battery, and come alive. Okay, you can say a prayer over it. You can say an incantation over it. I will often call in my guides to come in and use their energy for that extra. And so, yeah, that is how you would go about using creating a spell jar. Sigil home for protection. You can take black salt is actually great to sprinkle around the parameters of your home for protection. If you get a chance to make it down in New Orleans, I don't know where else they have it. This actually came from my coven member, Jeffrey, when he went to New Orleans, but he got me red brick dust for protection. And I sprinkled it over my doorway, and you can, you know, use that if you get down in New Orleans, unless there's another place to get red brick dust. I don't know. Black salt, if you want some, houseofthewildly.com, go into the shop and then look under ritual salts. You won't see it in the pictures, but there's a drop down where you can pick black salt, and you can buy some black salt through us. If you don't want to buy it, you can also make it. It's basically, you can take regular salt and you can infuse it with ashes and anything that's black, but we use ashes, old incense, anything that's burned, and you just want to keep grinding it into a powder until it's all infused, and then you've got, you know, this black salt. Powerful stuff. Also, if you have a witch's broom or a besom, not only is it great for clearing your home, right? You dust out the bad energy, but you can actually set it with the bristle side up outside of your door and hang it outside of your door. And that is a ward and a warning to any negative energy not to come in. It helps protect things. So that's another one that you can use. I get these things every year during the fall. They're basically like the cinnamon brooms. I love them. And so I will get one every year and put one up at the door. So I replenish them yearly. All right. So you guys, I can go on and on and on, but it's actually time for me to move into the reading section of the show. So before I do that, there's a few more things. I've got so many things. Like I said, this is a huge topic. Okay, I'm going to cover just a few more things. For those of my friends who have nightmares or they get bothered in their sleep, Maybe, maybe you are astral projecting, but you don't want to be astral projecting. You want to stay in your body. Or maybe you're being visited at night. There are a few things that really, really work for having protection around you. I have found that obsidian works really well, placing them in the corners of your bed. Okay. And rope, white ritual rope. Awesome. The thing about rope is if you are going to use ritual, do not for anything else. None of just ritual. You use other rope for other things. And what you can take a ritual and basically you are creating a circle of protection. If you don't have rope, you can also use salt. You can use white. Black salt actually works fine for this at night while you're sleeping. But you are closing off that space and you are creating an energetic barrier. Again, with the satchels and the spell jars, you can put that over your head while you're sleeping, or you can even put it under your pillow. I had a point in my life where I was living in a very haunted house. I eventually did away with the hauntings and took care of it. But during that time, I had the rope around my bed, the stones around my bed, and I had like amulets all around. So like, you can gauge it, how much protection you feel you need. But again, I will say that you need to talk to your guides. That is the biggest thing. I can give you all of the tools under the sun, but the most powerful thing you have as a witch is your connection to the other side. And that's your spirit. Again, your guides, your ancestors. And so really take the time to get to know who they are and start. You'll be amazed at what happens. I still have more on my list, but I'm going to stop there because that's a lot of information. Anybody have any questions about everything that I covered? If you have any questions, please let me know and I will answer them right here. Otherwise, I will move into the readings. As I'm waiting for some questions. Oh, Debbie says she likes brimstone sulfur. That is actually a really good idea. I've never used it, but I could see how that would really work. Kyle says, is there any risk of protective circles keeping your guides out too? Kyle, thank you so much for this question. No. The thing about the circles is it's about creating the intention of who you're going to allow in your space and who you're not. It's sort of like if you have a password to your internet. This is some dumb analogy, but it's working for me. If you have a password to your internet and then like you're going to give it to like your loved ones, right? Like your partner might have the password or your friends that come over. You might give them the password, but you're not going to let like the neighbor down the street have the password. So it's sort of like that. When you're creating these circles, it's like there are certain people that that will be allowed, guides will be allowed to come in because they're such an integral part of your working with them, unless you create a word specific to them and you're like, you know what, I don't want my guardian angel in the mix, which I don't know why you would want that, but I guess you could ward them, which is a weird thing. I've never heard of it, but if you wanted to do that, you could theoretically do it. So yeah, no risk there. I've never heard of anybody, keeping their guides out. I will say that on the wearing black thing that I was covering earlier, I have heard people say that wearing black shields you so much. It's very protective. And while it blocks out the negative energy, it also blocks out the positive energy. I haven't had that experience, but I have heard that. And maybe it's that I am very much about I like clean energy. I don't like mixing my energy with you unless I'm like very intentional about it. And so, for for me, it's like I can receive positive energy if I'm opening to it, but it's sort of like consensual hugging for me, where I don't like it if people just come up and hug me. I'm like, I can't be touchy-feely with those that I really love, but if I don't know you that well, I'm like, you know, you stay over there until we're there, when we're at that level, or if people ask permission, you know, it's, so I can appreciate that. And then I'm fine with it. So I hope that answered your question. I do create spell jars. That is one of the things that I do. In fact, behind me right here, I have little mini spell jars that I am going to actually be putting up on my website for sale. These ones are around creativity, manifestation, and spring because of the time of year. But if you are looking for a spell jar on something very specific, I would be happy to create a spell jar specific for you. If that's something you want, shoot me a message and we can talk about it, talk about what you're looking for, and I can set that up for you. All right, any other questions, my friends? If not, oh, Cody says we should very much have this conversation the next time I have the honor of your company, show you some of the stuff I picked over the years in the Northern tradition. I would love that, Cody. Yeah, you have a... Okay, I would love that. I'm always, you guys, I'm always down to learn more. I love sharing knowledge. I think that one of the things that's really important when you are on this path is to understand that, like, you don't know everything, and to keep learning and to keep growing and keep learning from each other. So yeah, I'm always open to learn and to grow, and anything that you know you want to share with me, I would be happy to learn about it. I am also one to know when I made a mistake, and I am happy to correct that as well. In fact, I think, oh, I won't go into that. Anyway, hi, Georgina. Welcome to the show. All right, guys. I am floundering a little bit, which means it is time for readings. So at this point in time, I'm going to give one card. Basically, you know, say it will basically be what's going on in my life, or what does the card want me to know. If you want a reading on something specific, please let me know. I would like a reading on this, and then I can give you a reading on that. I cannot guarantee that I'll get to everybody. I will do my best to get to as many people as I can. And always, as always, you guys, please consider leaving a tip. I am doing all of this for free. I love doing it, but definitely tips and gratuities. It just makes it, it's just nice. It's a nice gesture. So please, if you want to leave a tip over in the details, let's see if I can get my tips. You can PayPal me or Venmo me at Zoe-Soul. So that's Zoe-Soul. All right, here we go. Kitty, I need some place, please. This kitty has taken over. She likes to do that. All right, here we go. Reading time. Kate, you absolutely may have a card. Kate, I am going to assume you just kind of want a general reading, unless there's something specific. Thank you, Zeph, for posting up my PayPal there. It's paypal.me/ZoeSoul. Okay. Kate. All right, Kate. Kate, you have Taeyeon the Poet. All right, so as we look at this card, I'm going to go ahead and... As we look at this card, you can see that there is this little fairy elven folk, and he is there in the roots, and he's in contemplation. And what this is telling me is that basically right now you are in a time of deep thought, or you are headed into a time of deep contemplation. This is really a great time for ideas to come to you, for new insights to come to you. And it's basically, this card is asking you to let yourself get into that dreamy, he's a poet, right? Like, let yourself get into that dreamy, creative headspace. And the way to do that is to sit in quiet, sit in solitude, let your mind wander. And if you give yourself that space and that time to really be alone, to be in that solitude and let your mind wander, you'll find that solutions start to present themselves to you. So if there's any areas that you're struggling right now, it's basically saying the solutions are going to come when you give yourself the space and the time to be quiet and be still and open up to those creative processes. And the thing about poetry is that poetry is very much like being in that dream state where you're creating all of these associations. And so the answer isn't going to come from logic or trying to make sense of it or even rational thinking. The answers are going to come through the mind wandering and imagining. So again, give yourself that time to get into that creative, imaginative space, and do that really internally and by yourself. This is a solitary card. So yeah, give yourself that time and ideas are coming forward for you. All right, who's next? Sarah Haywood, here we go, my dear. Oh, Sarah, here we go. This is a beautiful card. You got the card Ecstasis. And ecstasis speaks of a time of entering into this ecstatic state. And anytime these cards, I actually look at these cards in the deck as being ecclesial cards. They're sort of a, they are an angel. If there's an angel, if there are angels in the Fae realm, this is them, right? It's this very beautiful, pure, piercing energy. And it's coming through to basically say that this is, you are going to experience a healing that's coming through this ecstatic state. So it's almost like what I'm seeing is it's like a shooting star, a shooting beam of light coming straight down and just showering over you and clearing away things that you no longer need it. And it's almost burning away those things. And if you look at the card, you can see that it's like got these wings. And it's basically saying that all of these things are burning off and clearing away so that you can fly. But it's very clean. It's not a messy process. Sometimes, with these cards, when things are unearthing and getting cleared away, it can feel messy. It can feel painful. It can feel, kind of like really hard. Well, not with ecstasis. With ecstasis, it's like, nope, we're going to come in. We are going to clean it up, clear it out, and you are done. And so, bravo, my dear. You've got some good things on the horizon. Kara, absolutely. Let's go ahead and give Miss Kara a one-carder. Okay, one just fell out and it's perfect. You got dun 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 Faf the Hooter. Here we go. You've got a little pixie that's sitting there on a toadstool. And this pixie is basically really in his element right now. And he's kind of blending into the background a little bit, but it's not in a way of like not being seen. It's more of like feeling at home. Like he's just resting and he feels like he is right where he belongs. And basically this card is saying, sit down and enjoy where you are right now. You have landed right where you need to be. Nothing needs to change. Nothing needs to alter. You can just enjoy being in the moment and sitting on your little toadstool and soaking it all in. You have worked really hard to get to where you're at. And he is basically saying, relax, enjoy it, take it in. There's nothing to do right now. There's nowhere to be right now, but exactly where you are. All right, who's next? Oh. All right, Willow, let's give you a reading, my dear. All right. Ooh, all right. Solace. This is all about masculine sun energy. Whenever Solace appears, Solace is basically asking you, you can see that he's got this light down in his heart center, and it's shooting up through that throat chakra, and it's like coming out his face like he's on fire. And basically this is the energy of action, the energy of truth, and it's unflinching truth. So basically Solace is asking you to really look, to really have a hard look and shine a light on your life right now and see the truth of it. And not only see the truth of it, but then from that place be willing to speak the truth of it and put into action what you know to be true for yourself. This is really, it's a card about integrity. It's a card about being in, sorry guys, there we go. This is a card about being in integrity with yourself, being in alignment with yourself, seeing the truth about yourself, and screw what everybody else says. If somebody is saying, no, you should be going down this path, or no, you should be going down that path, this is, no, you know your truth, you know the actions to take. And if you can see clearly, if you are willing to see clearly, you can see it, and it's all just going to fall into place. You're going to see it, and now is the time to execute. This is an action card. This is I am standing in my power. I am standing in my truth. I am in alignment with my higher good, and I am now going to move forward and manifest, because this card has a lot of manifesting energy. So have fun with that one. That's a powerful card. Okay. Vicky, here we go, my dear. Big shout out to Debbie for sending a tip. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Ooh. Okay, here we go, Vicky. You ready for this? The Glam Comber. This is a big card. Okay. So whenever this card appears, basically, if you look, there's a little bit of a glare. Let me see if I can pull that up. If you look in his third eye, you can actually see, like, in this space up here, there's a face right there. There's a face right there. And when the Glam Comber appears, it's basically saying something is not as it appears. Something's presenting itself to you right now, but there's a truth behind that. There's something behind the mask. And there's a, right now, okay. Right now, it might feel like, oh, okay, I'm seeing this thing and I see what it is. But basically, the card is saying, no, hold on. Before you move forward, take a step back and see from the intuitive space. See from the third eye. Feel into your body of what the truth of the situation is. Because by feeling in and moving from the third eye and seeing past appearances and past logic, you are going to know what the illusion there is. Something's off right now. That might be with a person or a situation, but it's like your spidey sense is going, I don't trust this. And this card is basically saying, yeah, you're right on. So take a step back. Do not move right now. This is not a time for action. This is kind of the opposite of the other card. Instead, this is a time to take a step back and to really get clear with yourself and what you're feeling and what's going on in your body, and to reconnect with that third eye in that intuitive space so that you can see past whatever the glamour is that's happening. Typically, I would want probably another card to get a little more clarity on this, but we are doing one card readings. However, you guys, if you want a full reading with me, please hit me up. I do offer full spreads, and we go into a lot of depth in what's going on. So if you're interested, please shoot me a message afterwards, and we can talk about getting you a reading. All right. Who's next? Da, 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 da. Hi, Hi, Ben. All right, Cody, let's see. Oh, Vicky, happy birthday. Here we go. Ooh, singer of initiation. All right, my friend Cody. Whenever the singer of initiation shows up, it's basically saying that like you are entering some new phase in your life that you're actually, it's like you're graduating. Something is coming to a closure, and now you are moving on to the next level. It's right there. It's right on the horizon. So it's basically like, you know, they are saying that pat yourself on the back. The hard work is really paying off, and you are taking it to the next level. It's pretty much what that card is. It's very straightforward. It's an initiation into what the next phase of your development and your life is. So you can be really proud of yourself because all your hard work has definitely paid off. And I'm excited to know what this next evolution is going to bring for you. Kara says, oh my God, I drew him this morning. You guys, so this is really funny because this has been happening. I had somebody in the last show, I drew 2 cards for her, and she messaged me today saying, hey, by the way, I drew these exact same cards. So the cards speak. Willow says, I love that. Just did a little ritual bath on the full moon in Libra. Oh, to try and call back my power. So this really hits the nail on the head. Awesome, Willow. I love me a ritual bath. It is very powerful. Yes, Ben, absolutely. So I'm doing 1 card reading. So these are short and quick and sweet, but let's see what the card has to say for you. All right, my dear. Ooh, List of the Shadows. All right, so List of the Shadows is this beautiful, bright, shiny pixie, and he is just soaring through this darkness. And basically, when this card shows up, it's saying that it's not quite shadow work, but it's like you're in this place where things are kind of murky and things might feel a little gray and fuzzy and unclear. But basically what List of the Shadows is saying is like, hey, actually, all you need to do right now is just stretch that arm out and feel into your light. And your own light is going to illuminate and give you the answers. I mean, it sounds really cheesy to say this, but really what this card is like the answers are in you all along. They've been there all along. And so really what this is about is about trust. It's about self-trust. So this card is asking you to drop into the trusting of yourself that actually you know exactly what to do and you have the answers and you have the solution. And now the only thing left is to start taking right action. And once you start taking that right action, you are going to pierce through all of that darkness, and not only are you going to pierce through it, but you're going to light up the world around you. So this is a very good card. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. Whatever that gut instinct is that you're feeling, or that intuitive feeling that you're feeling right now at this phase in your life, follow it. You are right on the money with it. So enjoy. Hi, Megan. You're new. Welcome. All right, I am happy to give you a reading, but then I have to stop there, everybody. Sharon, I'm so sorry. It's actually 9 o'clock. It is my ending time. But I will be back next week. Hi, Kitty. Kitty will also be back next week. All right, Sharon. Oh, Megan, here we go. Oh, she did not like that? Okay. This is actually the same card as the last one. I don't think I shuffled it well enough. I feel like that's not your card. I am going to go ahead and reshuffle. All right, Megan. And the fact that the kitty whacked me angrily tells me that, like, no, that's not the card. It's like, that's not the card. Put that one back. All right, Megan, let's get your card out here. Ah, ecstasis again. Here we go. All right, my dear, this is a really good card. Basically, this card is dropping in as a blessing. It is like a light that's dropping in over you, and it is clearing out all the no good, bad juju that's been lingering around you. It is like, I am here. I am clearing that out. We are making a path. We are creating a light for you. And this actually came up earlier. And what I said to the person earlier is that, you know, oftentimes changes when we have to let go of stuff, it can feel hard. It can feel like, you know, it can be painful. But when this card drops in, it's like, no, it is clear. These changes are being made, and it's like being made almost in an ecstatic state. It's sort of like, have you ever just changed a habit? Like you were just done and you knew you were done. You're like, I'm not going to do that anymore. And it was that easy. That's what this card is. It's basically, excuse me, the energy of, I am moving in this direction now, and everything that is not in alignment is falling away. And not only that, but I'm ecstatic about it. So this is a really positive card to have show up for you. All righty, my darling Jeffrey, I will give you a reading. It is the end of the hour. I will give you a reading in private because you are my coven member and I love you. I do have to end, everybody, because this is the end of the show. But if you like this show, please tune in next week. If you didn't get a reading, please come back next week and I will do my best to get you a reading. Again, if you want a one-on-one reading with me, shoot me a message and I would be glad to talk to you and set that up with you. If you want a spell jar, hit me up. I would be happy to create a spell jar for you. I had a lot of fun tonight. And I am I am just so happy to be here. Thank you again to Psychicfixes. If you guys haven't already, please head over to their page and like and subscribe. Debbie and Carla are the amazing women behind Psychicfixes. It's basically a platform for the healing community to come together to provide free readings, to provide education, to provide tools and resources to all of you. They're amazing with what they put out in the universe. So give them a little love back. Go over there. Not only do they have my show on, but they have a lot of other shows of amazing channelers and healers and dream interpreters, all kinds of cool stuff. So head over there, give a like and subscribe. I am going to head out. Thank you again. This has been Let's Get Witchy with your host, Zoe Soul, and the cat, and the hornet's nest, and the raven's claw, and the coyote fur, and the graveyard dust, and all the witchy things. All right, my loves, have a good night. Blessed be. Mwah.